is hard as hell. United, Tottenham, Arsenal. Watch my lips, and I will spell. Cause they don't just play, but they can rap as well. Liverpool FC.
My idea was to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility.
Cool, saying that. Hi, then, people. Welcome to another episode of the Anfield South podcast. It's me, your boy Slim, back at it like a Boris lockdown. Tier 4 people. What the hell, man? Anyway, we move. No tier can stop this. You know what I'm saying? And no tier can stop Liverpool because, as you know, we play Palace on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? We sent them guys packing. But anyway, let me introduce the goons. You know what I mean? Getting ahead of myself. Two we got with us today. What's happening, Professor Paul? You like you're about to rob somebody?
Yeah, my head's cold. I'm bald. How's it going? You right?
I forget how you follically challenged people have to wear hats all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Follically challenge. Yeah,
right. Listen, man, like Mr. IQ in the building. What's happening, Mr. Hills?
What's happening, man? Back, man.
Good.
Back. Long time.
And
Yeah,
what? 19 times Sam in the building.
Hey, what's up, people?
And guys, I think we got a latecomer. He's not quite on my screen yet, so he'll have to forego the sexy intro. But as always, as I say every week, the pod could not be possible without my right-hand man, engineer Sam in the building. What's happening, my jigger?
What's going on, people? Good to be back as always.
Oh, look, he's here. Mr. Jefe in the building. What's happening?
How you doing, guys? Live and direct from the car.
Yeah.
Where you been, my brother?
Oh man, I had parents' duties, and you know how mums on a Sunday want to keep you talking and won't let you leave on time. Yeah. So that's what's happened to me. So I've had to pull over in a random spot where teenagers probably hang out to.
Yeah, he's probably looking outside the window. Yeah. He's like a nervous laughter.
Hey, tell us where you are so we can call the police. Tell us where you are so we can call the police.
Hey, listen, anything up has been recorded. Don't worry, man. We got you.
Yeah, we got you, bro.
All right, boys. As I said at the top of the show, brother, obviously we paid Palace early kickoff. I don't know about you boys, but I know Klopp was moaning about the early kickoffs, about the fixtures and stuff like that, but it's a bit brutal, isn't it? Like we played Wednesday evening and then early Saturday morning. Like, I understand these broadcasters want the best teams to show, but that's a bit brutal, isn't it, Paul?
You know what? I wonder if like Michael Edwards and the other guys don't actually care that much because we're going to be shown in the Far East and we're popular there. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, as long as we can handle it, well, it's a good excuse if we lose, and if we win, it's a win-win.
Well, luckily we did win. As I said, the score was 7-0, and I mean, this is going to be a tricky one. Where do we start with that performance? Because it was amazing.
Unbelievable.
What is wrong with you, look? Everyone just silent.
No.
Is it
No,
like
it's usually.
You want to put your hand up?
You know,
Put your hand up.
No, I was waiting for you to point. I was waiting for the host of the most to just say, yeah.
Sometimes I'm going to say names, but in this instance, I was just drawing from my notes, so I didn't say a name. So anybody could have jumped in. Seeing as
Jefe,
all waiting for me, I will bring you in, Chris, seeing as you're talking to me. Where do we start with that game yesterday, man?
Professional, man. That's what I like to see. Taking the chances. I don't think we wasted a shot. I think we had 8 shots on target, 7 in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Can't ask for more than that. Few hairy moments in the first half, but you expect it from Palace. They're a dangerous team to play. But we dealt with it, man. Dealt with them like neatly. Do you know what I mean? It's just the goals. You know what I mean? We were the only ones going to stop how many goals we racked up. I don't think they had a choice in the matter, to be honest with you. We were purring, as they say. You know what I mean? Excellent performance.
Paul, you're very analytical, so I'm going to ask you. Do you know what? I'm going to come back to you in a second because I want to talk about the first goal. Yeah, Takumi Minamino. I think I said it his last start. When did he start last? Not last game, the game before he started. I said he's got to pack his bags. He's got to go. Engineer Sam, did you get a stay of execution after that performance?
No, it's not that we're harsh. It's just that he's still flat as to deceive for me. It was a great finish. I was actually stressed as soon as he took the ball. I was like, hit it first time, and he took that chance and he took a touch and it actually made it look an even better finish. So big up, props to him. It was a wicked finish, but I still feel like it's a stay of execution. I think Paul's going to tell me that he played really well, but Paul's just here to disagree with me. I think that's all it is. But I just didn't see enough from me. It was a great finish, and he did grow throughout the game because he had confidence after he got his goal nice and early. Stay of execution, maybe, but I need to see more. And when is he next going to get a start? So, great start to the game and a nice performance, and brilliant that he got 90 minutes. But I'm still kind of veering towards get out of here at the moment.
I think you got to give some of these guys a chance. Like, he's been at the club 2 minutes. It's always coming up
1 year. 1 year to the day.
1 year to the day.
1 year to the day.
And he came from Austria. That's one hell of a step up. I think sometimes somebody, I keep saying it on the groups, that we need to be supporters rather than fans. These guys are here for a reason. There's been a lot of homework. They've been followed for a long time. Just give them time to settle. He's come from a totally different culture, from Japan to Austria, and then again to England. And then he's got the whole COVID to contend with. He's playing with, training with better players than he's ever played with before. There's a lot going on there. And slowly, that goal, I mean, he produced more yesterday than I've seen from Divock in over a year. And Divock is settled.
That's not fair. That's not fair. You can't compare him to Divock. That's not fair.
You have to keep it real.
Yeah, but F.A.
It's facts, though.
You can't compare him to Divock. Divock's retired.
F.A. That's unfair, because Divock's been there longer and contributed a lot more than Minamino has. Like, the goals that Divock has scored in the Barcelona game alone is worth more than Taki's whole career so far. So I think you're being a bit harsh.
But I was making a comparison because we're trying to get a player out the door because he hasn't performed since he's been at the club. But there's a guy that's earned currency, so he's got credit with us, but he's done nothing and he's settled and been at the club for years. Yeah. This guy, he's coming from a total new country. The whole culture is different. Everything. There's so many. I mean, can you imagine coming over from Japan and trying to learn and understand Scouse. He's been used to a German English.
Yeah, but Austrian English.
Right?
He's used to Austrian. I'm sure Klopp probably speaks Austrian. Yeah, he's that clever. But what I'm saying is, we don't speak Scouse on the training ground because we have two born and bred Scousers in the first team. That's how we say. So the language thing, I'm not having that. Listen,
I'm not. No. I'm just saying it's another element of something he has to get used to. I'm not saying that it's the language thing per se, but there's a lot of things that come together for you to be able to play your best football. Yeah. And I think he's had to deal with that stuff.
I understand your point, and just on something that you touched on that I want to ask Professor Paul, as fans, are we too quick to dismiss new players per se? Are we not supportive enough?
Yeah, we are, and we all guilty of it. We all fall into the same traps. Like since the birth of the Premier League, or since we really got involved maybe 10 years ago analytically, and it's a cliche now. Like these guys sometimes need a year, maybe longer to settle. Do you know what I mean? And if we take Minamino specifically, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, he's playing well," blah blah. He's not a centre midfielder, first of all, and that's where he's been used in the last couple of weeks. When he has started for us, it's usually been with the fringe players, a mismatch of players. When he's actually started in a decent team, I think he's looked okay. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously, I hear what Sam's saying, and Sam's got a good football brain, so Sam could be right. Sam could be right that that he may never hit those heights, and he's called it early. But at the same time, nothing wrong with just hoping he does better, and I think he's got a slight chance. I was hoping he would play a bit further up the field, and he got his chance. He scored a good goal. I actually think he was actually quite quiet in a way, but there was some nice bits apart from the goal. Did you see him link up with Keita, a run from left to right or left to centre? He got put through. You know, yeah, it was. I'm happy enough with him. I'm happy if Klopp's happy. He shouted him out in the program notes before Tottenham. What else can I say?
I think he shouted out in the program notes because I think he knows. I think Klopp can obviously recognise the start of frustrations from some of the fans with Takumi Minamino, because I mean he's been there a whole year and he hasn't really shown us. For me, hasn't shown me why I need to carry on being patient. But
Slim, but that's the thing. He hasn't shown us. But how many opportunities has he really had to show us? Really?
But that's my beef, right? He's had not as many not loads of opportunities, but he's had minutes. And I feel when you're a new player coming in, any minutes you get is your opportunity to show the fans and most importantly, the boss, why you should be getting more minutes.
I agree. Yeah.
The fact that he hasn't had more minutes than what he's actually had, except for when we've had injuries, tells me that he's not quite the finished article in training that he should be in order to get those more minutes. I mean, you've got guys like Curtis Jones, who is a youngster and has just come through the ranks, and it's like he's been fast tracked.
Yeah,
it's clear to see the talent he's got. I have not seen that from Minamino.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's levels, and it's a game of football, isn't it? I mean, Park Ji-sung, John O'Shea, remember we used to laugh about that. They won titles. Do you know what I mean? So it's a squad game. If he can adapt, he could be a useful person. He may not be the levels of like Jones. Do you know what I mean? Who can come in and look like Michel Platini after 2 minutes. But at the same time, you know what? Let me just say why I think about that Fulham game, and that's where he got beef, like on our WhatsApp group, and I defended him because he got on that pitch, and we would call it running around like a headless chicken, but he helped stabilize, he helped get the ball back, and other people got on with the job, and I like that desire and heart. Do you know what I mean? And I think Klopp likes that as well, and he literally got a chance, he got rewarded, and he scored.
To give it more context, I think you got to think about the kind of team he's coming into. Like, he's coming into a team that's achieving 97 points, 99 points. To kind of come in and to shine at that level is difficult. We've already talked about the language barriers, the different cultures had to come through. So there's a lot there going on. So while I'm not saying that I'm totally convinced, what I'm saying is that give him a bit more time. I think it's a bit early to judge him.
Fair enough.
I personally wasn't.
We've seen, that he's got glimpses of ability. The ability there. Like that goal yesterday. There's that touch after the first touch. It's so small, but a lot of players would never have that technique or imagination to do that. And I
don't think that's true.
I think like that touch was lucky. It got a little deflection off of the defender's leg. If it goes anywhere else other than where it drops, he doesn't get that shot off. I'm not convinced. What were you going to say, Chris?
I think we're all guilty of getting a bit too gassed after the ties with Salzburg. I agree that, I mean, I'm not upset with him. He's a 7.5 million signing. I wasn't expecting him to come in and rip up the league. And for me, that gives him longer time to come in and be a decent or a valuable member of the squad. There are levels to what we're doing. And for him to come in and settle and be on the same wavelength as some of our established leaders, so to speak, I think maybe the expectations are too high. For myself, I'm not particularly bothered because I understand that, like Paul said, some of the times he's come in, he's played with fringe players who have no rhythm together, or I think people underestimate, because of our free-flowing style, I think people don't realise sometimes maybe that Klopp sends players out sometimes with very, very specific instructions of what to do. And I think sometimes when he comes in and it looks like he's running around, Klopp said, I think it's Klopp saying, I want you to go out and be a nuisance so Hendo can get on the ball, so whoever can get on the ball and do what they need to do. He's doing a job for the team. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of players are given instructions in certain games to play a certain way, so it looks like they're maybe not doing anything. I've been guilty of saying that with Ronaldo, where sometimes,
yeah,
you know what I mean, where when you look back over the game, you actually see that they are doing.
So you think he's a victim of the system per se? Oh, maybe so, but I think the jury's out for a lot of Liverpool fans on Takumi Minamino. But either way, regardless, he gets the start. Alongside Naby Keita because Salah gets dropped to the bench, which obviously raised a few eyebrows 19 times, Sam. But I have a theory as to why he started Minamino and Keita and dropped Salah. Do you have any theory on that situation there?
I just think squad rotation. I think that the volume of games that we've got coming up, the volume of games that we've played, is needed to freshen the squad. I think we're coming off the back of a huge win against Tottenham. The emotion that kind of went into that to kind of get that result. I think some players were likely to be flat. So in order to kind of keep it fresh, keep the rhythm going, he's had to kind of rotate a couple of players. And the front three, like we've already lost Jota. We want to kind of protect the rest of the front three as best we can. Yeah, that's why perhaps Salah came off, and even Mane. We'll probably go into Mane, but Mane got the amount of minutes he's got. It's just all about the bigger picture and the games we've got coming up.
Fair enough. Here's my theory. I believe. Go. No, I'm going to come to you. 1 second.
Go on.
I believe it was more tactical than that for the Palace game. Why he put Naby and Minamino in there, Jefe. I believe with Palace's defensive capabilities, they're quite strong at home defensively. They can be. I mean, they drew Tottenham 1-1. They don't at home. Roy's got them very organised. I felt he put them in there for the creative side, the passes in between the lines, the movement for the energy from Minamino in behind and stuff like that. I felt that's why he put them in there. Obviously, there was an element of resting Salah, but I think it was for a tactical reason, and I think it worked well. Would you reckon?
I initially believed a little element of both of the things you just said, and I still believe that. But there's something I heard earlier, probably most of you heard it some point today, that it was almost an act of disciplinary. So Klopp was trying to pull him in line after an interview with AS. That was a big story that went up today. That he was dropped as a spank on the bottom. But I don't believe that to be true. I don't believe that to be true, because when you listen to the interview in its entirety, it's almost like he's paying respect to Real Madrid. He's not saying that I want to go. He's like, I'm here if Liverpool want me. You know, that's basically it. But that's one thing I heard, and it was from Darren Lewis and the guys talking this morning.
I don't think that's Klopp's style. I don't think Klopp's petty like that. I think if he wanted to drop him, he'd be straight out. You're disrespecting the thing. You're going to play, but listen, you mess around and you know what I mean. I can make another Salah. So I think that's Klopp. I think that's a Jose thing to do. He'd come out in the media, maybe play mind games and stuff like that. But Klopp 6'4", man, slap dudes out here. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to play.
Yeah, I don't think his comments to AS.
It's my take on it.
Anything to do with him being dropped. I feel like if his comments were that divisive and Klopp was really that upset, he would have been nowhere near the first team set up for this game. He would have just left him altogether. I don't think those comments came into it. I personally didn't read anything into those comments other than they're great teams, they're respectful. But
I didn't even hear about that
right now. At the end of the day, what you've got to remember is Salah isn't a Liverpudlian. He's not a Scouser, so he could have designs on playing elsewhere. But as we know, and great players come to Liverpool and they leave, and we end up replacing with great players. So as much as I love Salah and he's absolutely on top of his game, if the day comes and he leaves, so be it. We move.
I don't think we got to worry about that right now, because like I said to somebody else earlier, you mentioned it. Them teams ain't got no break. They're all broke. They ain't got the 150 it's gonna take. That's facts.
But anyway, I don't want to focus on that. I don't think it's an issue, man. There's so much to talk about with 7 goals and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep it moving. So yeah, Takumi Minamino gets the first goals. An interesting point that I heard in one of my WhatsApp groups is Firmino, I think he's been back to his best for the last four games. But yesterday, how amazing was Firmino?
Sublime. Yeah. You know what could have helped? What could have helped? Not even helped. He was playing well, but anyway. But having those type of players around him like Keita and Minamino, you know, adds a little extra flair. Do you know what I mean? People he can bounce off. What's interesting as well for me, when he was off form, he didn't seem to be working as hard either.
I disagree with you. I think Firmino's work always been there. He just hasn't had that bit of magic.
I don't think he was as intense.
Maybe it was perception.
Intense. I think he was working.
Maybe it was perception I had, but he's back to his all-round best now.
Do you know what?
Some games where he'd let someone go, where he would chase them back half-hearted and kind of let them drift into the midfield. Whereas when he's on top of his game, he follows that person all the way until he takes the ball. You know, maybe it's like psychological.
What it is with Firmino, Engineer Sam, when he's on his game, does his game affect everybody else to the point where it helps other people play well, in a sense of like a Takumi Minamino and a Naby Keita? Because Firmino is doing what Firmino does it help those other players shine too?
100%. You hit it right on the nail there, mate. When he's on his game like he was yesterday, everyone is buzzing off him. And it seems almost telepathic that people can actually work off his way of playing, his touches, his movement, and it seems so natural and fluid that it's like, it almost kind of reminds me back to the Fab Four, that time when we had Coutinho. They were all rotating and everyone was passing to each other, and it just seemed so natural and fluid. It almost seemed like it wasn't even coached. It just seemed like it was natural. And yesterday was a throwback to that. And it just made me feel like, maybe this is what we've been missing above everything else this season. Forget about the injuries. Maybe it's Firmino was what we've been missing, because with that fluidity that he brings with the front four, nobody can cope with the front three, let alone if you add Jota in there, or even if you put in a Minamino for a game like yesterday. It's just unstoppable. And yesterday proved that. And for once, we were so clinical that when I was watching it with my son, I was like, you know what? This is like watching Man City. You know, when City 2 years ago would hit people 5, 6, 7 normally, and it was like nothing. That's what it felt like. And I was like, this is how we're going to evolve now? Can we actually do this regularly?
Sam, even though I actually agree with you that when Firmino's on fire, he makes us better, I've just got a sneaky feeling that we're going to hit some heights where whoever plays is going to smash it anyway. So you might see a Mane, Jota, and Salah up front, and the team's still going to be smashing it, because we're going to have Thiago back as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a psyche we've got at the moment. We're all powerful, like, you know what I mean? I could just smashing everyone. But yeah, I'll do back you 100%.
But what's giving you that feeling? What's making you feel like that? Apart from yesterday, has it been coming? Do you feel?
Yeah, because it's a dodgy season for everyone, isn't it? But we've been getting consistent. We have been winning a few games. We drew against Fulham. We didn't lose. We beat Tottenham, and that Tottenham game, the celebrations, seeing other teams sort of flopping, and knowing you're getting players back, I think they will feel that it's theirs to lose. And when you've got that confidence in yourself, who's going to stop you? You're like, who's really going to stop us? When you look at it like that, we've got like 200 points in 2 seasons, basically.
You know what? Hold that thought, because we're gonna come on to sort of title rivals and that towards a bit later on. I just wanted to ask you yourself, Chris. Did Palace though play that badly, or were we really that good?
No, they didn't play badly at all. I think some days you catch a team in a mood and you're just a victim. Do you know what I mean? It's like we what's he laughing at? Paul laughing in the background. It's just they just caught us on the wrong day, and I think I echo some of what Paul was saying before in where we're going. The thing is that for me, the best way I can put it is we're all artists. All the teams have artists on the pitch. The difference is we've already drawn the picture and it's at auction, and others are scrambling around trying to figure out what brush to use. We're we are we are serious when we put it together. And I said, people are saying that, how do I know Thiago's going to do that? I'm like, if you watch Thiago play, then you know that game, our team is built for him. It's just, trust me, it's the 6 stone on the gauntlet, man. Trust me. I told these guys, I said, listen, you guys need to be 5 or 6 points ahead of us before Thiago comes back to have a chance. When he comes back, if he stays fit, it's done. It's second, third, fourth, whatever they're doing down there.
Can I just say something, guys? Can I just say something really quick? I hope it doesn't segue too much. But when Thiago coming back, when he played against Everton, everyone was feeding him the ball. Now, I don't want it to be a situation like there's too much reverence, you know what I mean? Because I like the way at the moment people lend the ball to each other. I'm not saying he's greedy, or I'm saying, but do you know what I mean? You can with a player that influential, you can change your style in seconds. Do you know what I mean? And turn into like Barcelona or City. I don't really want that. Do you know what I mean? I remember I like the way Henderson will get on the ball and drive. Do you know what I mean? That's just a little point I've got anyway.
No, that is helpful. The problem with that is, though, these guys have seen him in training. And I guarantee you, he's doing stuff in training where they're like, just give him the ball, see what he's going to do. People do it with Messi, people do it with Ronaldinho when he was playing. They've got a certain level about their game where people just want to, even the players are fans as well. So they want to see what he's going to do next. You know what I mean? And you're right in saying that they have to try and not fall into that trap.
Fair enough. We're going to see, because we've got a nice big, what is it, 8, 9 days before our next game. Yeah. So he should be fit for our next game. So we'll see how Thiago is going to affect the team and the game plan from there on out. But you know what? 19 times Sam. You know what I wanted to ask you? Sadio Mane kind of got his chance to play sort of through the middle. Now, although he sort of played off of the right, he was the guy who didn't have the defensive responsibility, so he was making those out-to-in runs. How do you think he fared in that role, man?
No, I thought he did all right. I thought he was a threat as usual. I think you could see that he wanted to kind of prove a point in his performance. I think perhaps there's been a lot made of the fact that he hasn't scored and whatnot, but I just felt this game he had more of the eye of the tiger back with him. So no, I thought he did well, and I thought he was obviously not happy at being taken off, and that kind of shows that he wants to kind of put in like an imposing performance to make sure that Klopp keeps him in the team.
Well, he's never going to be out of the team, is he, Sadio? I mean, I think there's a lot of names. There's a few names that go on the team sheet first, but I'm sure his is like second or third. You know what I mean? So yeah, but he did do well down that role, and I think he relished the chance to be sort of centre stage without Salah. I mean, I think him and Salah have to share the limelight when they're on the pitch together, but I think he really relished it. Hence the disappointment at being taken off, especially he could probably see there was goals in it. And obviously linking with Firmino, obviously Firmino was just on another planet, as we were saying, but the way Sadio took his goal, just wow. The touch, turn, I mean, what I like about Mane, is that we could be playing like we played against Fulham, or we could be playing like we played against Palace. But for me, he's always unplayable. He's always got that element in his game that people just can't cope with him. He's just, he's so strong.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, unpredictable. The pace, the turn of pace he's got, the skill, the trickery he's got. And I just think, I like that.
Crazy.
I absolutely enjoyed Mane's performance yesterday through the middle, man. What else did I want to talk about? There was a slight spell in the first half, Jefe, where Palace seemed to sort of dominate us after Minamino scored. What do you think put that down to?
I mean, that tends to happen a lot in games with some teams. You know, when you score, there's just that. I don't know whether it's a little bit of urgency from the other team. You know, sensing that if they concede another one, it becomes a real uphill task, especially being at home. And I felt we let them onto us a little bit. as well to hit them on the counter. So I think there's another sort of string to our bow that we've not seen for a long time, where sometimes we just let teams, come on just so they can come a little bit higher up the pitch, and then we just hit them in behind. And you saw we hit them with a really good counter-attacking goal to kind of end that dominance.
Bit risky though, man. Some better finishing, better passes from Palace. We could have been.
Oh yeah, Andre Ayew. I mean, what was he doing with the cutback? But yeah.
But you know what?
Go on.
Go on, Chris.
You say, I was going back to what Slim just said about better finishes. We say talking about better finishes. I've come to the conclusion that playing against us is so intimidating now that teams believe or feel that if they don't 100% score when they get that one chance, it's going to be lights out. I do think there is that pressure. And I think results like yesterday sort of add to that. People talk about, not going to go back over the Tottenham game. All shows on that pod, by the way. People talking about Tottenham missing, Tottenham had the best chances. Missing a chance is not something you should get credit for. It's you not doing your job as a player. Do you know what I mean? So I think
Chris,
people are intimidated by our play and what we can do.
Chris, do you think it's got anything to do with the goalkeeper? Because I know from my playing days, when
definitely, the guy's massive.
Top goalkeeper, you always try to break the back of the ball, where really all you had to really do is slide it, but you were intimidated by him. And I think it was you talked about the Tottenham game. There was one of the finishes where was Stephen Bodvine's gone through, and Alisson stayed up so long that he's basically has to make his own mind up rather than the goalkeeper making it up for him. And I think he's delayed it so long, he ended up just trying to bend it with the outside of his foot past the post.
Losing balance in the end.
I think it's Alisson. He's such a good goalie, and he's so brave with the way that he keeps, like staying up to the very, very last minute. Little things. And as you say, he's a big guy. So I think that coupled with the insane sort of home winning streak and how powerful a team we are, that intimidation factor that you say. But I think Alisson also is massive for that as well.
So what you're saying, is that Alisson's scaring them strikers, they're bearing down on goal and they see him and it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, so I got to hit a worldie. I got to hit a worldie to beat him, where you probably just need to slide it in the bottom corner,
Yeah.
Do you know what? What you're saying there, Jefe, is bang on. In terms of the only thing I can relate it to is old school Peter Schmeichel. When he used to come out, he was huge. And that was when United were obviously the top team. And people weren't scoring past that guy. And he was physically scaring them. You could see it. He was coming out and they weren't confident of scoring. And
unless your name was Robbie Fowler.
Well, yeah.
Had to throw that one in there.
Alisson's got that, but he's got it in a kind of an understated, ultra confident, kind of steely way. He's coming out at you and you're like, don't really fancy it. Yeah, so I feel you're going with that, Jefe. Definitely.
All right, let's keep it moving because we haven't talked about none of the goals yet, man. Jeez, damn, man. 7 goals. Let's just quickly run through the scorers in case people have forgotten that and they shouldn't have. So Takumi gets the first one. I think then it's Mane gets the second one. Firmino gets 2. Henderson gets 1. And then Salah gets 2 as well. Instead of trying to sit here and sort of break down how the goals came about or whatever the case might be, let me ask each of you, briefly, what was your favourite goal? I'll start with you, Engineer Sam. You go first.
Bobby's first at half-time. I just loved the way that we broke up the attack and we sprung like the old days. We sprung like Salah's first season, that season when we were just stinging people nastily on the break. And the way that he laid that ball off for Robbo to open up his legs. And if you just watch his run, he ran straight through the middle and Mane pulled towards the right. And the way that Robertson saw him and picked him out and that touch to control the ball, that was just nasty. Not many players could control it like that and then lay it in with the outside of your boot. That was just perfection. That was pure Bobby. So for me, definitely that one.
What about you, 19 times, Sam? What was your favourite goal, man?
Yeah, I got to agree with my man Sam. Yeah, that first goal from Bobby was was quality. I think I looked at it from a different perspective in that we were defending, we had everyone defending, and as soon as there was an opportunity to attack, we attacked as a team. So that ball from Firmino to Robertson, and you see you see Firmino bobbing forward, you see Mane, you see Minamino all busting a gut to get there, then Bobby's touch and that finish. And I think we talked about earlier Firmino and the difference he's made and how he's come on in the last couple of months. If you compare that chance he scored against Palace and the confidence and how nonchalant he took that to the chance against Leeds when it was 3-3, he went through on goal and he missed that opportunity. Because for me, there was some kind of lack of confidence. There was some kind of mental block with him going forward and getting on goal. And I just think, as we've all kind of alluded to, the confidence is coming back. That's affecting the team. So yeah, that first Bobby goal for me was standout.
What's cooking up in the kitchen, Chris?
Chris, is dinner ready, yeah? Chris, you need to come off, bro. Don't even try and style it, bro.
No, turn us back.
It's Sunday, you know. Bring us in.
Is that Larry Hills in the background? Send us a plate.
One second.
I was wondering if it was in the kitchen.
Eject Chris from the kitchen.
Send over Uber Eats, huh? Send over Uber to pick it up.
No. Anyway, seeing as you're chefing up in the background, distracted us. What was your favourite goal out of the 7?
Again, the third one for multiple reasons. Sometimes when I hear Liverpool fans talk, or I hear fans in general talk, I got to ask whether or not they watch the game, because the stick that Firmino's got over the last year or so, I know we live in like a culture where everything is instant, but it's like people need to develop longer memories. I got a few apps I'm going to send around to certain guys so they can improve their memory, because I don't get it. When this guy is on form, you hear me talk about IQ a lot and stuff like that. When this guy is on form, there's certain things that he does that if he was a more popular player in terms of his PR, people would be salivating every game. The touch, the third goal, right? The two things about the third goal, I like multiple things about the third goal. But Robbo's ball, precision of Robbo's ball, and the way, see, Palace didn't defend that badly. That's what people need to realize. Palace did not defend that badly. That was just superior offense versus defense. You know what I'm trying to say? Touch, his touch before slotting it in, he literally kicked it out, 2 defenders and a goalkeeper with 1 touch. You can't defend that any better. You cannot. It was just great offensive football, which somebody needs to send a video to Jose about, because he obviously don't know about anything yet.
The best team lost.
Again today.
Again.
I watched that goal over and over again. Over and over again.
We're going to get on to Spurs. All right, listen, Jefe, what about you? What's your favourite goal, man?
My favourite goal was the Henderson goal for me. Because of, I saw too much maligned players involved in the build-up in Minamino, and then Keita plays a great ball out to Trent. And I love a good layoff, and he laid the ball in perfectly to Hendo. And our captain don't score many goals, but he tries that side foot 62 times a season. And for it to just, for him to hit it perfectly, and the ball was superb, and it just nestled into the far corner. It was just exquisite for me. But I will say the goal that these guys like. Sorry, go on.
Me and Paul was talking about that before. About him trying that crossfield turn of a ball. And for once, he just
Chris, we just want food now. Sorry, Chris.
I listen to you, man.
We're not going to bust up laughing.
What's on the plate? Wait, hold it.
Just bring the plate, man.
Tell us what's on the plate. I don't want to hear nothing other than what's on that plate.
It's not my dinner. It's not my dinner.
I still want to hear. I want to know. I want to know what's on that plate.
I made some Chinese sticky ribs, and we had some jasmine rice and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, what, from the air fryer, yeah?
Hey.
Yeah, man. Good chefing it up. I'll send you a picture later.
Hey.
Proper things.
Sounds good.
Send some my way.
Hey, listen, guys out there, if you're hungry, here are Mr. Hills. He's the chef. Now we've got an air fryer. It's all good. Listen, anyway,
cooking.
Listen, let me keep it moving.
Yeah.
So Henry's going for Captain Fantastic's goal. Yeah, hats off to that goal, man. I love it when Henderson scores because we all know, like, it doesn't matter how many trophies he leads up to. We all know the stick Henderson gets. He's underrated, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So it's nice when his performance gets a goal at the end of it. So, yeah, a salute to Henderson's goal. What about yourself, Professor Paul?
The goal I liked was Mane's one. A couple of reasons, obviously.
That's the problem with going last year. Someone's always going to steal what you want to say. I was going, no one said it yet.
Well, hopefully I've got a different reason as well then. It's obviously, yeah, I'm sure you're thinking he hadn't scored for ages. He should have a lot of confidence for someone who should have no confidence with the trick. But also I liked it because Naby Keita. Now, I've been saying for a while that to defend him, I'm not gonna sort of second guess anyone's complaints about him. Sometimes he lacks a bit of heart, I think. Do you know what I mean? But to defend him, he likes to play between the lines. He's often in space, or even sometimes with a defender to his back or midfielder to his back, and he's not receiving the ball because I don't think we like to lose the ball in certain areas. But you got to trust these guys sometimes. You got to trust him to spin, and I like that type of football. I do like that type of football between the lines where if you see the pass he done, he literally just whacked it in a general direction, knowing that, well, I'm going to get it back or someone's going to pick up the second ball. It works. Barca done it. Everyone does it. It does work. So I'm happy he contributed to that, and I'm happy you got to see. Well, I've been talking about for a few weeks anyway. That's what he brings to the team, and I think and then Thiago's going to demand that from his teammates anyway. So we might as well get used to it. And it's another string to our bow. We go wide or we go kind of direct long, don't we? Let's play through the middle as well sometimes because we're going to need it.
Fair enough. You actually like it for the sort of the build-up play, if you like, the players involved. For me, I like Mane's goal because of Mane. Mane, Firmino's pass first and foremost, yeah, the weight of it, the deftness of it.
I forgot that, yeah.
Crazy. And then the touch from Mane to turn the defender. Wow. Like, kids, that is how, when you're a player like Mane and people want to be so tight to you, that is how you do it. That touch through his legs and then just the instant hit. Keeper no chance. It was just, yeah. And yeah, all right, he hasn't scored in, was it like the last 9-10 games or something like that? It was, but what a way to like your goal scoring Dutch, man. For me, that was just an amazing goal. But just to say, I guess all 7 goals were great, but yeah, I guess for all our reasons that we just said, that's why we picked those ones. And of course, a big shout out to Salah as well. Do you know what I mean? Back to his old best, cutting in from the right and just burying them top bins. Like, yeah.
I can't believe they let him do that. You can see it coming.
That's exactly what I felt when it happened. It was shocking defending.
But by then, I reckon they were really deflated. So that, you know what I mean? I don't think it. Yeah, they had any much.
Van Aanholt almost said, "There you go, go on, put it on your left."
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's like,
so, you know what, Salah, guys. Salah's now getting to a level where sometimes it just happens in an instant. He's been consistent all season. He's been scoring goals, and then even a couple of times he's looked a bit. But I think you can rely on him a lot now. And there's a few times as well he was coming during the game where he was coming into the middle of the pitch, and he actually looks half decent as a playmaker. He looks half decent. Yeah,
that's why it's frustrating with Salah.
You do know he's been Egypt's playmaker for years, right?
No, I didn't realise that.
Like,
nah.
Yeah, he plays almost like a number 10, just drifting wherever he wants to go. So he's got that to his game. And someone put a clip up. I don't think it was yesterday. It was maybe a few games before, and he exchanged about 3 or 4 passes in about 2 seconds. And it just
it's just around against Spurs. It's just around the box, guys. It's just around the box. Sometimes when he's inside, where he's just looking to shoot so often. Where perhaps, and he's got Trent there. Now, I think that's why Trent doesn't even go to the byline anymore. He's kind of given up. He'd rather just hang back. But with Mane, he will usually, okay, he's going to try and shoot. But if it's getting blocked off, he'll usually just blindly knock it down the wing, and Robertson will be there. So I mean, I'm asking for perfection now. But if Salah can continue to just think the bigger picture when he's in the box, then that's more opportunities we're going to create. But at the moment, he must be top 3-4 players in the world. Like he's our most important player at the moment, I think.
Fair enough.
Got a few of them.
But actually, can you say today?
Exactly, Jefe. That's it. It's hard to actually say who's Liverpool's most important player at the moment.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's a debate. With 6 of us in the room, that's a debate that will go on all night, mate. So let's have that one.
Funny enough.
It's like every time Slim says man of the match, everyone picks a different person almost.
Hey, listen, Engineer Sam, obviously we've just been talking about all the goals and stuff like that. That was Liverpool back to their clinical best, yeah? And as I mentioned earlier, we have now like a 9-10 day break. Has this break come at the wrong time, seeing as we've sort of hit that clinical form? Not form per se, but being clinical. Like, is it the break come at the wrong time?
I don't know. I kind of feel like, I would love us to have a game in 3-day time, because when we hit form and we get on a run, we're gone. We're gone. And almost, it can work both ways. Don't get me wrong. In fact, a week full of training would mean that we could probably obliterate this next team. But we done that of Palace after 52 hours after beating Spurs? Something stupid like that. So it's like, it would be nice to have a game straight away. But do you know what? We've got to take it as it comes. And at least next week, apart from Van Dijk and Gomez, we're actually going to likely to have a fully fit squad. We're likely to be able to actually not have 2 keepers on the bench with those 9 spaces, and have Shaqiri back, have Thiago on the bench, have Millie there. So maybe the break has come at the right time, injury-wise. Form and momentum-wise, I would have loved to have had a game midweek. But I think we'll be okay regardless.
When's Jota back?
Pardon?
When's Jota back?
Oh, Jota's New Year. Jota's New Year.
I heard February, you know. I heard a report that said Feb.
Jota's not for a while yet, but apart from our 2 central defenders and him, we're almost there. So I think it puts us in good stead for the period after the 27th onwards, because the games are going to be thick and fast again. So good to go.
Sam and Slim, can I just add something to the because Sam was talking about squads, where we're gonna have a lot of obviously. Go on.
Look at my watch. I'm looking at my watch, Professor Paul. Off you go.
Oh, no story. No story, Paul.
No story.
Yeah, no story.
Just a point and a not prediction, but what I would hope, a solution. We're gonna have a lot of players back, and you can't have bad luck forever. So they'll all be back. Blah blah blah. Especially in the midfield, stacked in the midfield, and we've got Curtis Jones's progression. I think we have to think about as well as the team, because he could be a star and relied upon in the future. I really like him up front, like on the left. I remember the Everton game when he scored in the FA Cup. He was playing centre midfield. He was quite quiet, and my sub in my head was like, "Please take off whoever the forward was. He wasn't playing well, and put Jones up top, right?" And he did. 5 minutes later, he scored, and I was like, "Do you see what he done?" That's what I said. Blah blah blah. I think that could be a role for him, because I think we're a bit light up there. Obviously, without Jota, he can play off. He can play off the left, and he will. I think he can score in every game. I think he could beat players for fun.
You just want your boy to play.
Seriously.
Well, let me ask you this.
That's what I'm saying.
No, don't ask him no questions.
Squad solution. That's what I'm saying.
You know what, Paul? That's a good point. And maybe Klopp think along them lines. Maybe we'll see that. The only person I'm going to give this question to is 19 times Sam. Like Engineer Sam said, we should have most of our players back, and the midfield will be overstacked. In the midfield, for the next game, Sam, who would you drop and who would you bring in, or would you keep it the same? Only.
This is assuming that everyone's fit, yeah?
Yeah, everyone's fit,
Henderson, Wijnaldum, probably Jones as well. I'll keep it as it is. I'll keep the same team to let them know that, you know what, you guys have kind of got us into this position. Your performance have put us into this good place. And to let the others on the bench know that this is the standard you've got to reach to. This is a standard. If you want to come back in the team, you've got to show me something along them levels. So I'd probably keep it the same personally.
Fair enough. Interesting. Guys out there, if you feel different to what Sam just said, you know what I mean? Who would you change it? Who would you put in the midfield? What would be your midfield three, man? You know what I mean? Write in the comments, you know. Get us on Twitter. We see all the handles going across the bottom, man. So do all that good stuff. Okay, well, that away win at Palace ended a 3-month spell of no away win. I think it was 3 months. Yeah. I'm gonna say 3 months of no wins away from home. So that was a nice way to end that barren spell. You know what I'm saying? And also after the Spurs game, to lay down a marker to the rest of the chasing pack that we are the champions and we won't be trifled with. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on to the other weekend's activities. Let's go straight to today's game. Leicester Spurs. Now I will show Spurs Leicester. I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this one to you, Jefe, because that face you're making.
We know the last time I was on the pod, I mentioned about Spursy. I think we've seen some pretty good examples in the last 2 games of Spursy. And also I just want to say that this is why playing with the ball is easier than playing without.
Thank you.
They look shattered today. Yeah, we looked fresh as daisies, and we played 24 hours before. Yeah,
Thank
and we
you.
put 7 past the team. So Mourinho, play your 10 people behind the ball, and let's see where you are at the end of the season.
Amen. Amen.
And because I think they had more possession than Leicester today. They had 56%. So he was at home. He had to come. So he had his own tactics done to him today.
Here's the thing. I don't think he knows what to do when he's got the ball. When he's kind of a Tottenham team is up to kind of take the initiative and have the ball, I don't think he knows what to do. He's better off.
It's harder to coach, Sam. It's harder to coach offensive controlling football than it is to put the 2 banks of 4. It's brave to do the offensive side, and I think seeing them today, because the way they play, they have to be razor sharp. Their front men have to be razor every single game. They can't afford to miss 2 or 3 chances. I think they I don't like to use this XG and things like this, but they have been literally performing at scoring, missing 1 chance and scoring all the rest of their shots on target a game. And you can't keep that up. You can't maintain that for a whole season. It's they've done a good job to maintain it thus far, but that's what you saw today. There wasn't a sharp, didn't get as many chances as they needed to win the game. And Leicester, they were full of energy, and when they got the ball, they can keep it as well. And they had a goal ruled out, which was very, very tight.
Yeah, it was a very, very tight decision. The goal they had
great finish.
It's like a Liverpool type VAR decision.
But again, what was Serge Aurier doing for the first goal? I mean, why?
He's been doing so well this season.
Where
Serge Aurier?
Why did he need to nudge it?
He came back today. He came back out
Serge
today.
Aurier
He never left, man. He never left. He's always been dunce. Don't be fooled, Jefe. Don't be fooled by what he did against us. He's always been a stupid, lack of intelligence footballer. Dunce.
Had he been sedated then?
I don't know how he pulled that out on Anfield, but he's dunce.
Yeah, no, that was poor.
Listen, a broken clock. Listen, about the broken clocks and all that. The guy's a donkey. People are saying that he's showing form. You don't get. I don't know how old is he. How is he? What, 25, 26?
Oh, he's got to be older.
You
than
don't
that.
get to that age. You don't get to that age and suddenly figure out football at that age. The guy's a donkey. He's right. Listen. He's Moreno. He's like continental. He's African Moreno. That's what he is.
Well, you know what?
Moreno.
You know
he
what?
is. The guy's a donut. He's seriously proper donkey.
we have to after today's game, we have to now sort of put Leicester in the frame, because I mean they're not that many.
No.
They're not. No. Because at the end of the day, points means prizes, and they're 4 points off the top. So we have to talk about Leicester. I mean, the performance they put in today against Spurs was very convincing, but me personally, I always feel like Brendan Rodgers has the rabbit from 8 Mile. He always chokes when it comes to the finish line. But for now, they're up there. Could they do it again?
Not for me. I just think that their results this season have shown that while they're capable of the good results, a la Man City, a la today, they're also capable of getting done by Fulham. And if you're talking about them winning the league, nah. Top 4.
Man said,
No,
nah.
they've lost like 5 games already. No,
Yeah.
they
They haven't got the
they're back to the
consistency
scene.
to get to
No.
that top level for me. So
Well, look, Sam, let me just cut in there. They could win the league, but it would take us to, you know, flop badly, because I originally thought that it wouldn't be the 12 points difference between first and sixth, perhaps. After we lost to Villa and the pandemic and people be, you know, no fans and the world going crazy.
But we talked about that last podcast. It's the injuries. For me, like we said, we've had these injuries. We've had to kind of like put in squad players that have kind of done well. I'm gonna diss them. I think they've come in, they've done a job, and that's kind of what's taken from us. Now, as we're talking about, we're getting our injuries back, we're getting our players back. That midfield that we've got is hot. Like when they're all on and when they're back and they're on it, right? You're gonna see levels. And like, as far as I can see, only Man City have got the history that tells me that they can keep up with us. The rest of them.
But you know what?
Hold on. The point I was going to try and raise.
That leads me nicely into the Man City game. Obviously, Man City played on Saturday as well, and they beat Southampton 1-0. I said last episode, I think Man City have lost their sparkle, and I don't think they'll be challenging for the title this season. That's my personal opinion. Chris, would you say otherwise?
No, none. This is the thing. The teams who are our so-called challengers are caught betwixt and between. City, the only one who've gone up against us, and they are mentally scarred. They're not. They ain't gonna do it. If they get within 5 points of Liverpool, they'll fall apart. They will self-destruct. The other teams don't know what they want to be. Leicester want to be title contenders, but they also want to be relegation fodder. They're not consistent. The sort of level of consistency and performance that we've established over the last 2-3 years, it scares people. People can't go into game. People have to think 3 points every game. The pressure is there. 3 points every game. And we've shown beyond any doubt that we're only one of two teams, one team now, we're capable of maintaining that. The only team that has an outside chance is Man United. And listen to why I say Man United. Because they're done. They're
outcomes, yeah. Outcomes is it when I've got these things. You man just run ahead of the thing, blood. But
sorry.
Like, I asked you about Man City. I asked you about Man City. You end up at Man United. But
let me just finish off on Man City.
Hold on, Chris. You're here. Man United played today. They beat Leeds 6-2. Looking at the table, if they win their game in hand, all things being equal, they could end up being like 2 points behind us. If they played their game in hand before we play our next game, just say for argument's sake, they'd be 2 points behind us. So let's just assume we all win our games and they're 2 points behind us. Are they the dark horses? Is Ollie actually using a steering wheel?
They're not, because they got Ollie.
No, they'll get a nosebleed and fall off.
Yeah,
they'll get a nosebleed and fall off. They're not there.
Chris, an outside chance is a dark horse.
Yeah, but hold on, boys. Take your Liverpool hats off. This part of the show is where we try to look at other teams objectively as much as, you know, we can do. So
let me answer, Slim. I can do objectively.
Paul, I think, needs to get this one, you know.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I take Engineer Sam said you need to get it, Paul. Go on, Paul.
Yeah, because they were like, we were in a little chat, weren't we? And they're my outside. It's only the last few weeks. And I looked at it and I saw a couple of their performances. I was like, you know what? They've got goals in them, man. They're actually a positive, exciting team for me now. The defense sucks, obviously, and Ollie tactically, but they've got some good players. And I just think football these days, all the boys in the academies, all the boys coming up until like 26, 27 now, they're taught to play technical attacking football. That's what they're taught. You can't teach these people now, these F1 cars, to now put them and defend or drive at 20 miles an hour, to complete the analogy. Do you know what I mean? So that's why people don't respect Mourinho, and that's why I reckon they'll probably respect Solskjaer, because he's just like, boys, let's go out there and attack because we're united. So let's say this is common sense.
Why do you do that? Why do you do that?
Is it Irish?
You did really well, Paul, man.
That was Norwegian. That was Norwegian.
Mate,
you guys are high. You guys are high, man. You're not listening. You know what I mean? Anyway, go out there and attack and see what happens. Like all those boys, Chelsea, United, City to an extent, although their clean sheets is quite impressive now, and Tottenham, they're inconsistent. So if we fall apart, one of those guys will climb over us and win. I can't say who it's going to be because they're inconsistent.
Yeah,
but I
that's
still think if you've got attacking football in you, you're gonna in this league you're gonna win more than you lose. That's what I think.
Yeah,
Cool,
no.
off the back of that, Paul, you saw them today, yeah, and you saw how many chances Leeds had against them. Although they scored a lot of goals today and created a lot of chances, they're so loose defensively. I just can't see them maintaining.
That's what I said.
Challenge.
Well, yeah, but that's Sam. But
so open.
Can I just answer that, Sam? That's what I'm
saying. It's so open, bro.
Yeah, but that's what Chris was saying. I don't think they're going to win the league. Like the question is a valid question. Like who's our title rivals? But yes, okay, United are our title rivals, and I think they'll be 20 points behind us. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not going to win. They're not going to win.
Let me put it another way. Our title rivals are Liverpool. That's who our title rivals are.
VAR.
We're playing against ourselves. Exactly.
We're trying to. It's like us and the media are trying so hard to create a title race.
Do you know what, Jefe?
It should be natural. It should be there from from on the table.
I disagree
everyone's trying to create. Go on.
No, because the reason why I'm disagreeing with you because, like I said, points mean prizes, and you can't we're only 4 points ahead of Leicester.
Yeah, but that's only because we're.
What have we had to come through to get to this point?
Yeah, but that's not the point.
To what the rest of the guys have. And then when you look at him, go on.
Hold on. It's not about. We talk about Liverpool. Yeah, we talk about injuries, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, the league doesn't stop because we've got injuries. So let's put that aside for a second. Yeah, all that matters is the points on the board. You can't say we're creating a title challenge when you've got teams that are 4 and 5 points behind you. That is no gap. This time last season, what was the gap between us and second? It was bigger than this. So then you could say, your point. Yeah, but then you could argue your point.
Squad.
Yeah, but then you could argue your point saying we're creating title challenges, but look how many points ahead. Now it's not creating; they're there, Jefe.
Wait. We are because none of the guys that we're mentioning have recent form in putting a challenge together. So for me, we are creating a title race. You speak to our manager, and most they'll say one game at a time. They won't even be speaking about it. But I guarantee you that these guys that we're saying that they're going to be in a title race, they won't be there come February because their defenses and a lot of them can't stand up. And what do we say? Attacks win trophies, defense wins championships. Now you tell me how many of those defenses is going to win a championship, and then we'll talk about being a rival.
I think that's when you kind of go back to like.
Hold on, Sam. I understand what you're saying, but I just don't think we can be so arrogant with it when teams are literally right on our doorstep. It's still a race. We're not gone clear. And as long as teams are still on our doorstep, no matter what you think about their pedigree, their history to win a championship, to win the Premier League, they're still there. All you've got to do is be in it. It's Christmas and teams are still 4 points. If we were 4 points behind the leaders at Christmas, we'd be saying we're in it. So I think you're being very dismissive and slightly arrogant with that statement that we're creating title rivals.
Slim. When you put it like that, you're right. It's a bit arrogant. We're just kind of answering it in terms of what we expect to happen. So maybe that is arrogant. But I'm being honest in terms of like when you say who is our title rival, I can only talk about my own team, really that knowledge, So with the others, I can say honestly, I'm not sure because they seem inconsistent. Is that a fair answer? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can be arrogant and still be speaking facts. I'm not somebody who gets carried away, but I watch these teams and I won't believe there is a title challenge until I see a title challenge. I expect us to be in the conversation because we're champions. I know what you're saying now. There's not much of a points difference, but I'm projecting where I expect each team to go, and I've never seen any of these teams compete on that level. And I think while we won't, because of the pandemic and the number of injuries we won't hit the points total that we did last season.
Yeah, but Chris,
once we hit a groove,
are you formulating that opinion just because you've seen the way we've come up? I think you're expecting every team to come up how we came up, how the way we've mounted the title challenge. Look, Leicester won it however many, I can't remember when it was, however many years back, that was like out of the blue. Not every team has to have a come up. Sometimes there could be a surprise package,
but Leicester's one was based on
they could do.
all the other
could
teams
do.
were in disarray when they won the title.
Yeah, but Jefe, that still doesn't mean
we're not in
just because
disarray.
other teams are in disarray doesn't mean to say there can't be a surprise, a come up, a glow up. For argument's sake,
No, they could be.
hold on.
Listen,
For
I've
argument's
never
sake,
seen that, but okay.
for argument's sake, Everton are 5 points off of us. 5 points.
Then,
off, 5
Slim,
points off.
then what we need to look at, guys, is then how can we lose it from our, because we're more knowledgeable about our team. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, injuries, the Champions League coming back. We're not, like I say, we're not miles ahead.
The only thing is the away form.
Wait, hold on, Jefe. Hold on, Jefe. 90 times time, you keep going to interject and not finishing. Go on. What do you want to say, brother?
Oh no, I was just going to kind of agree with kind of what's been said before. In that, like, I'm looking at the other title challengers. I think Spurs have got a good defense, so I think they've got the platform to challenge. But I just don't think this day and age, the standards that Klopp and Guardiola have set, that football ain't winning you a league. Like, I think was it Mr. Hill was saying that, like, a draw is a bad result. You've got to get 3 points. And Mourinho's style of play, well, he'll settle for a point. He'll go, I don't know, away to Chelsea and get a draw. That's not good enough. You've got to keep on winning. And like, I'm looking at, for me, I can only judge on history. So that's why I'm only saying, for me, Man City, even though they're whatever they are away from us, they've got the pedigree. They've proved that, you know what, we can churn out the results and get them 3 points. The rest of them,
Man City are 8 points. Are 8 points behind us. They have a.
But they've got the history though. They've gone toe to toe. Remember when we were about 5-7 points ahead, and like they've whittled that down, and that was on the basis of draws. We drew with Everton, we drew with Man United, who when you draw away with them, that's usually a good result. But because the standards that Klopp and Guardiola have set, that a draw is like akin to a lose. So you got to keep on getting 3 points. And like I said, Leicester, while they're a good team, they could beat us even when we play them. But for me, they ain't got the consistency. Chelsea haven't got the consistency. United, to be fair, I've got to respect where they're at the minute, as much as I hate to admit it, but I just feel they won't be there. I just think that, but us and City.
So United have done this for the last couple of seasons, though. They go on runs where they win 6 to 8 games, maybe, and everybody starts, worrying about them and what they're going to do. Usually, if you watch them, their points are picked up against lesser teams, and then they hit the wall. It's happened for the last 2-3 seasons. This is why I understand why Slim will say it's arrogant to take that position, but my arrogance is not based on some sort of like me being overzealous towards my team. I'm basing that on recent history, and if you go on recent history and you combine the standards we have reached and can reach again this season, and you combine what the other teams have been doing, it's very, very hard to see us getting pushed to the wire and losing through any other reason other than we get devastated by injuries. And we've had that.
Chris, can I just say then, even though I was saying I think United are a good team to watch, not saying they can win it, then that means you've got to say City then. From what you're saying, you're going to use recent history. Is that they've only lost? They've only lost one player, isn't it? Company. Still, I think you got to say City then.
Yeah, City. But the thing with City to reference the F1 analogy that you mentioned earlier. If you notice on some tracks with these recent cars, when a challenger gets up behind the lead car, sometimes the wake of that car disrupts the aerodynamics on the car behind and they can't follow. That's what will happen to City when they get close to us. Guardiola is a broken.
Now that's arrogance.
Listen. You're talking to a Formula One fan, so I love that analogy. Listen, I'm gonna have to move on because time is of the essence. Hold tight. Just before I wrap it up, a big shout out to all the Arsenal fans out there. Don't worry, man. Relegation fight. It's not as bad as it sounds. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. Just pull together, and you'll get yourself out.
My advice to all Arsenal fans is this 22-1 to go down. Just put that tenner on to soften the blow.
Yeah. Have a bet that way, you can drown your sorrows in your winnings.
Big Sam's got a job as well. They lost out on Big Sam.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. West Brom are definitely
Pulis is
staying
still
up.
available though.
No, he's at Sheffield Wednesday, bigger club.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Whoa.
Ah, Jefe, that was cold.
Oh.
Right,
Arsenal
listen,
fans, dibs on Saka. We want Saka. Dibs on Saka. We take it.
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, we take Saka. Yeah.
listen,
he shouldn't have
You
signed
don't
that
see
contract.
somebody things Vince.
guys, I have to wrap it, man, because we're heading steep over a cliff. I know we could probably talk about this for the rest of the evening, but this is what happens when you get six minds on this beautiful podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to say, and yeah, man, it's been emotional, man. But yeah, you won't see us for a while, man. Like 10 days, man. Jeez, make sure you stream the heck out of this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, boy, Slim as always, man. And in the building we've had today, Professor Paul.
Peace, yo.
Mr. Hill's in the building as well.
Next time, people.
And Jefe from his car, he's safe. He just got to get home now.
The Dongers have disappeared, I think. But yeah, champion. The champion's back on top.
Been a hot minute, but it was good to see you as well 19 times, Sam. Make sure you come back soon, my God.
Will do, man. Will do. Good to see you guys.
And engineer Sam, you know what? Do what to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Now's your time, my brother.
All right, people. Thanks for watching. We out.
Peace.